we go. Okay, you might have a little bit that says this meeting's been recorded. It's just so that we can share it with people. Okay, so I'm going to keep this as brief as possible. I know we're overloaded with loads of information, so it's going to be as Purley-centric as possible as we can do. We had a meeting last week, which is also on the website at the moment. That's where all our information is going to be, is on the Purley BID website. There's a special section on coronavirus on there. And last week was more about our communications. So hopefully everyone should be receiving communications. We've got email, website, BidBase and WhatsApp, as well as the social media channels as well going around. It's going to take quicker than it looks on here. So we've got the current status, what we're doing to support businesses, community, again, review the communication channels. No point in talking about the relaunch of Purley BID activities just yet. And then any other business and questions for people if need be. So at the moment, the current status, we've been led to believe that this is a 3-week lockdown. It very much seems like it's going to go on significantly longer than that, at least double that, and probably to the end of May. Don't want to speculate. I don't know anything more than any of you do. And people are talking about 6 months, a year, whatever, but pretty sure it's going to last more than this 3 weeks before we can get to any semblance of normal. We will be sending out our weekly emails. So if you're not getting those emails, do get in contact with info@purleybid.com. Just make sure you get it, or on social or on the website. You can make sure you get signed up for those. Keep a lookout on the social media. We've keeping updates. If any business gives us an update of what they're doing, if they're doing deliveries, if they're doing home visits, if they're doing, as we just discussed with Lisa, if we're thinking about sending out to people's businesses for homework, then just keep us up to date and we'll share it out with everyone. We do have a business WhatsApp, a Purley Business WhatsApp group. So again, if you want to get involved on that, that's been fairly useful so far with sharing information that's coming in from different sources. As a BID, we are on the Croydon Weekly Task Force. And so if any business wants us to raise an issue on that with the council direct, or additional to your contact with the council, do let us know and we can raise things with them as well. And we're just generally doing information gathering and trying to keep it succinct. So we've got a section on the website at the moment, which is, has got a repository of documents. So on the website, under coronavirus section, there's a repository of useful documents. So at the moment, we've only got one from Palmerston, which is a really, really useful document, and we'll come on to that in a second. But it's otherwise split into business support, Purley specific areas, general information, bits with the community. Then we've got a list of what services are still working and delivering at the moment, and an update. So do keep us updated with that as much as possible, because we're sharing this online. We want to make sure that whatever business can still trade is trading, and we'll keep you supported as much as we can on that. Going on to the next slide. So yeah, please just share as much information as and when you can get it. So going on to the business support, the access. So we've got accessing the grants. Everyone should have got a note from the council last night with regards to accessing the grants, if they're applicable to it. Now, I know not everyone has. My business, Smart Cow, is applicable for one of these grants, but we've not been contacted. So as a BID, we've got a list of all of the relevant businesses that are BID members, and we'll be contacting them to say, have you got this form? Have you filled it in? And what it is, it's just sharing, making sure you've got the right BACS details. You'll need to have your UPRN number from your grant, from your rates form, and you fill that in and make sure you've got the right details. And then middle of April, the money should be coming into the bank. So if you see it, go through. We will be giving everyone a call and just marking off on our list that everyone's done this action and completed it. Accessing loans. We've been speaking with a few accountants on this. I mean, Emma will be able to give us an update in a second. I'll get her to finish up this section. The loans, the word is be cautious. It is going to be treated as if a normal loan, so that they are going to be lending to viable businesses, and you will have to pay it back. And it's not, I believe, on the 0%, but I think Emma can give us a better update in a second there. Payment breaks, I believe, are available. I can probably give us a better answer on this. But things such as mortgages and furloughing staff as well, where possible, that there's information on the Palmerston's form to help support people with that. Other information from the council, again, that's been shared onto the Purley BID website. And again, we're working with the Croydon Task Force, which has come out with some fairly useful information that we have shared onto the site. Wednesday's white label, marketing business in the centre of Croydon, is doing updates similar to this, and every evening they're sharing the summary of the Prime Minister's statement. So rather than reinventing the wheel, we'll leave them to carry on with those activities. And then also this forum is, we'll try and get, I know Emma's come on twice now, thank you very much, Emma, and we're trying to get Palmerston's or an accountant on here as well, because I think accountants are also really key at the moment for supporting us all. With regards to the Purley business updates, it's fairly quiet at the moment. I mean, our main thing, as I said, we are just going to be absolutely full on contacting businesses, making sure that they've claimed these grants. That's going to be the most important task we can see at the moment, and making sure that, because not everyone has a good understanding of English, not everyone looks at their emails, not everyone believes that the texts are genuine texts. So we just need to prod people to make sure that all their details are correct. And also some people haven't been contacted by the council. So we will be doing that as our main task, certainly for the next 2 weeks, of contacting people. We do have this bit on the website, the Purley Delivers. So what businesses are open? And again, Michael might be able to give us an insight as to what's happening with Tesco's in a little while. So if I can just unmute Emma, if she's able to give us a little bit of an update. There you go.
Hi, Simon. Hiya. Are you all right?
Yeah, good.
Gosh, it's been crazy busy, as you can imagine. So my phone and my emails are going off the hook at the moment, and we're trying to assist as many clients as we can. Yeah, you're quite right. These loans do need to be paid back. So we do have to look at repayments. They are 0% for the first 12 months, and they are 12-month capital repayment holiday. So these loans, for the first year, you do not need to pay anything back at all, as long as you qualify for the scheme. After the 12 months, the actual term of the loan is 1 to 6 years. So obviously, if you take a 0% for the first year and a 12-month capital repayment holiday, then the repayments are then worked out over the remaining 5 years. And obviously, this is why, as a bank, it is the bank that's lending, and we're only relying upon the government if at the end of the term the business has gone bust and we can't, obviously recoup the funds from the owners. And that's where the government steps in. So we still have to do all our affordability checks and sense check and everything else. So that's where we are at the moment. We are inundated. We do have a backlog with our credit team, because like most businesses, local authorities out there, this came up and caught us like everybody else did. So we are working on a backlog at the moment. We are trying to get them done. So from us, we've got, our general business as usual loans. Because not every business has been affected by this. Some businesses are doing quite well out of this. So, we have some businesses that are looking to develop further. So we've got our business as usual loans. We've got those businesses that are directly impacted by the coronavirus and unable to trade. So we've got the CBILS loans, or the Coronavirus Business Interruption Loan Scheme, now called CBILS, because it's a less of a mouthful than the other one. And then obviously we've got capital repayment holidays on any commercial mortgages and larger loans over 25,000. So again, there is a lot of support out there, and I don't see that Barclays are doing any different to any of the other, major banks out there with this support mechanism. And just going back on CBILS, obviously we are we are sort of bound by the same rules on the scheme as every other bank, so we're not going to be doing anything different to any of the other banks out there. We have relaxed the need for guarantees from directors for those limited companies, so we have relaxed on those. So, you know, obviously for loans up to $250,000, we now don't take personal guarantees from directors. So that's that one. That's kind of where we are. Obviously, the CBIL scheme is changing and evolving as far as the bank is concerned as to what we're doing all the time. And I'm still on almost daily conference calls with that. So we're still trying to get our heads around it, because when it was launched last week, it was literally launched and we flew with it. So we're still sort of learning as we go along. So on that one, but I think we've got it pretty much nailed as to what we need to proceed. Just a quick one on Purley and the business. Obviously, unfortunately, Purley branch is closed. So I can only apologise to you guys that are trading in Purley that the branch is closed at the moment. We have had a lot of staff go sick. So we are, unfortunately, you know, we've had to sacrifice some branches. I will send out, Simon, 2 really useful Barclays sites, which is, one is a telephone checker, because we've had a few clients that are saying that they are not sure that they're receiving calls from genuine numbers for Barclays. So I'm going to send out a telephone checker from the Barclays site, and also the branch finder link as well, so you can see which branches are open. So closest to Purley at the moment, Coulston is open Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday from 9:30 till 2 o'clock. I believe Wallington is following the same hours, and then the main branches at Croydon North End and Sutton are also open, as is Banstead. So, but it's worth, I'll send you those links out so that if people want to find a local Barclays branch, they can obviously find those as well. So, yeah, I mean, this virus is affecting us as a business as it is everyone else. So,
yeah. Okay, yeah. We'll share that as well.
Yeah. I am going to have to jump off very, very shortly, Simon, but I don't know if you wanted to see if anyone had any questions for me.
Has anyone got a question? My first one was going to be this loan. You're saying it's 0%. I was hearing elsewhere that it wasn't 0%.
It is 0% for the first 12 months. And then obviously the rates are coming in after that, and they're you know, they're not too bad. They're anywhere between about 3% and 5.5%.
All right.
So they're not, you know, I almost had a row with my husband because he turned around and reckoned they were going to be 20%, and I told him we were talking a load of rubbish. So we did have a minor dispute on that one. So luckily I was right. So in that respect. So no, they are, to be fair, for what they are extremely keenly priced. I mean, way under what the old government-backed schemed loans were. So really, really keenly priced.
Okay. Anybody else got questions for Emma? No. Okay. Thank you so much, Emma, for that. Really appreciate it.
No worries. I'm going to jump off now, Simon. All right, if that's okay with everyone. Thank you.
That's fine. That's fine.
No worries. Have a good day.
Cheers there, Emma. I'm going to ask Marlon, our chair. I know I'm just jumping onto you now without giving you any warning whatsoever. I was just wondering if you had any updates. I mean, you deal with financial circles and loans and stuff like that. So just going to unmute you and see if you've got anything you want to add on to this.
Yeah. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah. Well, from the brokerage lending world, I mean, it's a completely different world now in terms of it's clear that lenders don't really have the appetite to lend money in this current environment, especially for anything that is involved with first-time buyers, first-time landlords, anything that's above 60% of the property value, or let's say 70% of the property value, anything that's sort of at 70% or above, lenders are pretty much withdrawing all types of lending products for that market. You know, they're just not sure what's going on, and a lot of lenders have pulled from the market completely, and the ones that are remaining are sort of saying, well, you need to have a 30 or 40% deposit, and we are going to be very stringent with the underwriting process. So clearly, if you are an applicant from what would be recognised as an affected sector, hospitality, high street, something like that, and they see that, then clearly there's going to be a potential issue for you in terms of affordability, because your business would have been temporarily closed down. So lenders are being quite stringent where that is, and we're, you know, I'm getting new inquiries still, and we are having to manage people's expectations in terms of, look, this is where the market is. As a responsible broker, we're happy to have a look at it and assess it and give advice, but in reality, you know, you're going to have to be clearly understanding what the marketplace is like now, and there isn't an appetite, because lenders understandably do not know what's going on. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what the parameters are going to be. They don't know how long this is going to last for. Yeah. I was speaking to you just before the call started, Simon, to say, I mean, I've got a client who's an experienced property developer who was taking out some unregulated bridging finance, and the lion's share of the process had been done. But again, that particular lender said, look, we're going to halt the process because we're not sure what's going on. We're not cancelling anything. We're just going to halt it. We've just stopped lending until we know what's going on. And pretty much that just had to have the solicitors sign it off and what have you, but they've just stopped lending because they just don't know what's going on. So it is unfamiliar territory. Lenders just don't know what's going on. And on the back of that, they're not prepared to take the risks with high loan to value loans or anything that involves valuations or asset managers or solicitors and things like that. They're just literally saying, we're putting a hold on things.
Okay, yeah, unprecedented times, I think, is the overused term at the moment. Thanks a lot for that, Marlon. I'm also going to call on Michael, and I see Deva's on at the moment. And Deva, I'll ask for your words that you know a few little bits from the council as well. Before going to Michael, though, a word of warning. I've certainly seen a few scams coming in at the moment that are looking very convincing. So be cautious as things are coming in at the moment, because there are, I don't know why people would ever do this at a time like this, but yeah, people are people and people are being scammed. Michael, if it's okay to call on to you to just say what's happening with Tesco's as kind of the main supplier of food and what your processes are at the moment. Just trying to unmute you now.
Unmute now. Okay. Obviously, after the conversation we had last week, those of you who visited the stores will have seen a sort of a marked increase in our social distancing measures and sort of restrictions in place in store. Over the weekend, we also got comms saying we were altering our opening hours. So we are now currently trading 8 in the morning till 10 p.m, Monday through to Saturday, with a now confirmed 10 till 4 on Sunday, as opposed to our usual 11:5. On top of that, there is restrictions on the number of people we're allowing in the shop. Currently, over the weekend, we were doing about 230, maybe 240, but it's very, very fluid. 200 felt quite busy during the week, but at the weekend, 230, people seem to be behaving themselves a little bit better. Restrictions still remain in place within the shop in terms of items you can purchase. So we're generally saying across most products, it's 3 item. Toilet roll still remains 1. Paracetamol, obviously more from a legal point of view, remains 2. But in terms of stock-wise, we had our UK CEO in on Saturday and sort of gave us the lowdown on it. We are pretty much there or thereabouts and expect to be sort of continuing to recover over the week. Those of you who came in towards the tail end of the week will have noticed you can pretty much get 90% of your shop in there now. Meat's still a bit light, pasta's still a bit of a problem, as is things like eggs and stuff. But there have been a good couple of days last week where we were finishing with most of those items still on the shelf. So overall, we seem to be recovering in terms of recruitment. That's gone for a temporary pause at the moment. We obviously brought a load of people into the business. The system is sort of a bit blocked up with other people. I know our store in Factory Lane is still recruiting drivers. So if anyone's interested in driver recruitment, we're still doing that through our dark.com store in Factory Lane. But in terms of Purley, yeah, that's probably about it at the moment, unless you've got anything else you think out there, Simon.
A couple of things. There was I was seeing on the online message that we shared, you're planning a route for people to go through the store. Is that correct within Purley?
I've not seen anything about that yet. I know that came down as part of our social distancing packages where it was possible to do. We have got teams within the store, so not only the guys on the door sort of counting people in and out, but there are guys going up and down the centre aisle in the shop, sort of directing people where best to go around the shop. As you come to the checkouts, it's probably most prominent because you'll notice we've actually got markers on the floor. So as you come out to the till, you're directed to one side of the line, of a sort of a thatched line, so that you can, as best, maintain the social distancing. And obviously that's got the new checkout screens down there as well. But if there's further stuff to do, you know, I haven't been in yesterday, so I haven't seen any comms that landed this week. But if there's anything else, we'll sort of update you through the website.
Okay, then my second question on that would be, I'm a regular online shopper with you guys. There's no slots available for at least 3 weeks. It's all fully booked out. Have I noticed on other online shopping, they allow people with special needs, the elderly, to be able to get some slots. On both sides, when do you see the slots starting to open up?
So this is something we are still trying to get our heads around. Half the issue is for those who aren't familiar with the way the Purley operation works, if you get home delivery from Purley, your gear's not actually coming from Purley. It's being picked in a separate shop. It's one of our .com centres down in Crawley. The issue they've had is they've had quite a lot of sickness amongst their pickers. So over the last week particularly, we've ended up cancelling quite a lot of orders, which hasn't helped us. To try and free up slots, we're now restricting, obviously you would have seen the 80 items per shop. We are hoping to get more slots available. That's why we're sort of trying to push for more drivers, and they're doing some recruitment down that end. At the moment, I can't give you a definite answer on it because it's sort of depending on what the sickness level is at our picking store. So I know like click and collect, we're fully booked out, but we've now got the resource to keep on top of that, to the point where if we are cancelling orders and they're getting to the store because we haven't got drivers, we're able to allow you to pick up from store. I can't really give you a definite answer at the moment, so as soon as I have it, I will email it through to you. Okay,
and again, we'll share that out as soon as you get any information. Thanks for that, Michael. I really appreciate that. If I can come to you, Deva, as well now. Now, myself and Deva have been having close contacts with the council. I know Deva has got some very good contacts there. So if there's anything that you can say, I don't know if you're on mute at the moment. Do you want to add anything, Deva? I can't hear you. And can you unmute yourself, Deva? Because I can't. Push space. Oh, I'll have a chat with Deva offline and share those with these notes afterwards. Sorry about that, Deva. I don't know if that's the right thing. Okay, so just rolling on to the end of this. So again, we're here predominantly to share the information and make sure people can get updates, particularly Purley specific. We're not going to flood you with information. The most important thing that we can all do as businesses at the moment is make sure that our information is correct and up to date with the council for these grants that are coming out. If you can also have a look onto the Purley BID website, there's a very useful pack that we've got from Palmerston's that covers job retention and furloughing. I know some people are going to have to furlough some of their employees at the moment. I'm going through that process as well. So there's useful information on there. Deferred VAT payments, which is going to affect people. There's a good piece on there on their document. The business rates, the grants, introduction schemes. Do go and have a look onto the site, onto that page that I pointed out earlier.
Simon?
Yep.
Sorry, I unmuted myself. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go on.
Just for clarity around the actual business grants, obviously that are being processed now as we speak.
Yep.
Are those applicable to businesses that haven't closed? So any of the businesses that are still operating a collection or delivery service, are they still entitled to the grant?
Yes, I believe every business is entitled to a grant, whether you've closed or not, because everyone's going to be impacted. Even if they're doing deliveries, you're not going to be able to serve people on site as well.
Okay.
And it's not just leisure. So leisure's got a certain set of rules, I believe, but all businesses, so my business isn't a leisure one. I don't have people coming on site, but I believe I'm still applicable to as a business rateable place that you can have a place. Also, it's I see Michael from MMA's here. It's per rateable hereditaments you've got. So if you've got more than one place, you'll get more than one grant back from there. So I know I've been speaking with Ghost as well, helping them with that, and they've got a place up in Selton as well, so they'll have 2 hereditaments where they can claim the grants from. I think, let me just have a look. Yeah, so actually this is the document that we've got from Palmerston. So as you can see from it, it's got, yeah, the job retention scheme, which is actually very useful for it. So rather than cutting down people's hours, actually, if you put people onto furlough, then they'll get 80%. The statutory self-employed probably won't affect too many people in Purley, or the business owners. Self-assessment deferred. Look, I won't talk you through it. You can download it and access the site itself. Going back to this bit, just our main thing is, look, we'll put up everything onto the website. We'll put everything onto the social media. We'll be speaking on the WhatsApp group. So please keep in touch with anything. So just finishing off, look, any questions for us or that we can raise with the council, GLA or accountants on your behalfs? I just wonder if I'd have to just unmute everybody on here. Okay, I'll take, I think Marlon managed to unmute himself, so I'm assuming that if people wanted to unmute, they can unmute.
Simon, can I just ask?
Oh, yes, Catherine.
For the WhatsApp group that we've got, we do need mobile numbers. For most of the businesses, we've got landline numbers. So perhaps if they could contact us with their mobile numbers so we can add them.
Very good point. Yep, so if they can either call in or just email at admin@purleybid.co.uk with your email number, we can add you onto the list for the WhatsApp group, which has been quite useful. And also with regards to us just generally getting in contact with you to make sure that you've made the most of these grants. Okay, are there any other questions? Unfortunately, for some reason, Deborah, I can't unmute you. But if you haven't got any other questions there, I shall call that for a halt. I will organise another meeting for next week, similar time. There's a white label meeting tomorrow at 11 o'clock as well, and a newsletter from us by the end of the week with the status. Okay, well, thanks a lot for your time there, everyone, and we shall speak to you next week. Cheers there.